Hi everybody, this is my channel Humblehus. Welcome. Let's make a cute little headband so that I can show you this pretty stitch that you can use on all of your projects. Whichever one you want to do, whether you're going to use it for a different project or you want to make the headband with me, this is what you're going to need. I will be using two different colors of the same yarn, which I will link in the description. I always have scissors on hand, obviously my hook, yarn needle, optional stitch markers. You can also use a paper clip, but you don't have to use any of these if you don't want to. And a ruler or a measuring tape if you're doing the headband. We are going to start with a slip knot. So you make a little loop. My yarn is kind of, it's not very straight. There. So you form a loop. You insert your hook and you grab this loose end carefully and then hold on to both ends and pull in opposite directions. Then tighten it onto your hook. There we go. You can work this headband whichever way you like, either horizontally, so doing all the stitches like that, or up. Here's a sizing guide. Now, my daughter has never fit into this sizing guide. She's like an adult, even though she's 3. So I am going to start chaining in multiples of 4, and then I'll be measuring along to see, if I'm in that range that I need. So go ahead and start with that. I have 120 chains. Since it's going to be twisted, you'd rather it be a little bit longer than too short, because then you can adjust it onto the head of whoever you're making this for. So if you have the person to measure it on, that's even better. All right, so whatever multiples that you made, whatever number you have, so whether it's 8 or, I don't know, 40, you want to add one more chain to that. So in my case, this will be 121. Now this is quite a fine yarn, so that's why I have so many chains. Now let's go back to make this a little wider, this foundation row. I always like to just reinforce it a little bit. So you will skip that first chain from your hook and then work onto the second. Start with a single crochet, so go in there. There, 1. If you were using the stitch markers, you would add it right here. I can just add it so that you see how it works if you use stitch markers. There. Continue onto the next chain and go all the way back with single crochet stitches. So now that we have our foundation chain established and you've finished with this row of single crochet stitches, we are now going to move on to row number 1. And this is what I wanted to show you before I continue. So this is if you're working horizontally as opposed to if you're working up, like vertically. So that's the difference. With this one, if you're working up, it's a little bit easier at the end to adjust it because you can measure along as you're doing it. Whereas this one, you're pretty much set and you won't be able to change it. If it's too small, then that's bad. But if it's big, yeah, maybe there you can adjust it. Chain 3 and turn your work. You need to start your first stitch in this very first one, so right here. And you need to go through both of those loops. So we're going to work with double crochets. Yarn over, insert, and do your double crochet, If you wanted to add a stitch marker here, you could do that as well. We're going to skip the next stitch and then work a single crochet into the next one. Skip the next stitch, and into this one we are going to do 3 double crochet stitches. Skip the next stitch and work a single crochet. Skip the next stitch, and then we do 3 double crochets again. Skip the next stitch and a single crochet. That is all you're going to do for this row number 1. You just repeat this pattern of skip 1, 3 double crochets, skip 1, single crochet, skip 1, 3 double crochets, and so on until you get to the end of your row. And I will meet you there. I am almost at the end of row number 1, and I just did my 3 double crochets. I will leave this one, I will skip this one, and then where I have the stitch marker, I will do a single crochet. Now, if you finish the other way around, so let's say you finish with, depending on what number you used for your chains, if you end with a single crochet like me, then you will have to chain 3 and turn your work. If you finish with 2 double crochets into your last stitch, because you're not going to do 3, you're going to do 2, then you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and do a single crochet into that very first stitch. If you are like me, I'm going to chain 3 and turn my work. If you have the chain of 3, then you need to work a double crochet in here as your first stitch. This is for row number 2. But if you have it opposite of me and do a single crochet into that very first stitch, then you would continue with your 3 double crochets into this single crochet from the previous row. All right, but for me, I did the double crochet, and now I have these 3 from the previous row. I need to do my single crochet into the middle one. Now we continue. You skip this stitch and you find that single crochet from the previous row, and you do your 3 double crochets in there. So all we're doing is we are offsetting that stitch to give it that pretty look of the pattern. Here you have those 3 again, so you single crochet in here. Oops, I'm grabbing a bit more than I wanted to. Now you come back down here, so it's like you're going up and down the mountain, right? And you do your 3 double crochets. Now I hope that makes sense. That is really there is to this pattern, to this stitch basically. These 2 rows, and you're simply going to repeat them. I will finish this row number 2 and get you started on the 3rd row. And there you will see what it's like if you finish the other way around than how I finished on after row number 1. Now that I'm here at the end of row number 2, so I did my single crochet, I'm going to skip this stitch, and then I have the chain 3 from the previous row. I'm going to take off my stitch marker, and you can do your double crochet into that top chain, but I like to just do it into the space so it doesn't look so pulled. I'm going to do, oh wait, I need to yarn over, so yarn over and do 1 double crochet, and now another one. So at the end you only do 2 double crochets, and then you turn your work. All right, so this is the one where you only chain 1, like that. So now into this first space you're going to do a single crochet, skip this, and go into that single crochet from the previous row to do your 3 double crochets. Again, you have these 3, and you do your single crochet, and that is how you continue row number 3. All right, if you're doing this stitch for a different project, then I hope you like it. And if you're continuing to do the headband with me, I will show you, once I get to the change of colors, I will show you how I change them. And I will also show you how to do the twist, of course, at the end when we're done with the headband. It all depends on how wide you want to do it. So you need to decide if you want to just do 1 color or the 2 colors like me. So pick that and just check how wide you want it, and then we'll meet. If you're doing a color switch like me, when you get to the end of whichever row you're in, whether you're doing the 3 chains or just the 1 chain, so I have the 3 double crochets. I will be doing a single crochet into this last space. So I pull this through. Now I take my new yarn and form a little loop. I'm going to pull this through, pull on the old color. So now if you only need to chain 1, then obviously you chain 1. But if you need to chain 3, then you do the 3 chains and you turn your work. And then you just continue with your stitch as you normally would. So I have my double crochet, and then I have my single crochet in here. Oh, and you do not need to cut up any yarns, because all we have to do is pull the other yarn up. That is if you're doing even numbered rows. Now for the last part, when you're ready to join the 2 sides and make the twist, obviously as you saw, I left this long piece of yarn after I finished my last row. Get your yarn needle. Now you line up the 2 sides, so fold it in the middle, and then move it halfway over, like so, and fold this part over, and the other part over here. if you measured this on the person that you're making it for, if it's too wide, then you can sew this a little bit more, like go into it a little bit more so that you have a smaller band. And if it's perfect, then you just sew right here along the top. So take your needle and your yarn, and you are simply going to go through all 4 of these sides. If you had any loose yarns, you thread those in, and then you turn the headband inside out, and you are all done. This is what it looks like. I hope you enjoyed this project and that you like working with this stitch. It is a very easy stitch. Follow me on Instagram and tag me with your work. I would love to see what you're making. And if you like, go ahead and follow me, subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate it. I will see you on the next video. Thank you for being here. Bye.